Hello people, Joshino here. Today I'm going to answer the question, is the NC AF-19 Mercenary the best default carbine? Whilst also generally reviewing the weapon and giving an idea of how to use it. So first off, stats wise, this gun falls in with the NC trait of being hard hitting with 167 damage over the other two's 143. The weapon also shares a more noticeable kick, as with other NC weaponry. However, I'd say that this is one of the lesser in the NC's arsenal. The rate of fire is slightly lower at 600, but this isn't a massive drawback. The reload speed is fairly average, but not long enough to affect your flow whilst tackling multiple enemies, like say the GD7F. Just to note, up to Araxium I also ran the Mercenary with the flash suppressor and the laser sight. I usually pull the laser sight to have a tighter and further out hip fire and feel the recoil isn't too much to cope with. But this one could come down to personal opinion. The weapon is very capable at medium ranges. Also, with the suppressor, because the Mercenary has a recognisable sound, a sort of thudding, it is a bit more of a logical choice to conceal your location over the flash suppressor. Personally, what appeals to me about this weapon is the lesser kick it has over other NC weapons, with a high damage, whilst keeping a decent rate of fire, unlike the Razor which feels more sluggish and pays to be more cautious with. I felt very confident with keeping my bullets to a tight pattern with the Mercenary, both whilst hip firing and also whilst aiming down the sights. Meaning that with the extra damage and the ease of headshotting, it gave a very low time to kill. Having a tight pattern combined with the lower time to kill really made it easy to go from one enemy to another when engaging groups. I really liked it for its ability in controlling crowds, so if you're feeling brave on your light assault, give dropping behind a group a go and keep your hip fire horizontally level at head height. Hopefully it'll land you a few kills. It is important to note that with the nerf of nanoweave armour, the time to kill has been lowered, and it seems the extra damage pays off more than it did before. This seems to be the case with the Mercenary, which feels very rewarding for being able to land your heavier hitting shots. Another benefit of the weapon is that once you get used to its slight recoil, it is a very capable weapon at mid-ranges. It can also have a chance at engaging in longer ones and can be burst quite effectively, but not in a great capacity. You'll still have a hard time competing with the tighter Vanu weapons. So like the other default carbines, it is kind of a jack of all trades. However, it doesn't per se have a great penalty for being good in most situations. Obviously, one-on-one dueling in close quarters combats will be hard taking on the Serpent, SMGs or shotguns, but if not taken by surprise with some movement and a tight aiming pattern, it is possible to take them on. I'd advise engineers to keep their distance to the beginnings of mid-ranges or keep a couple of meters between enemies and themselves when fighting in buildings. Also, unlike the Gore Saw, which kicks you right in at the recoil deep end, the Mercenary can be helpful as an introduction to the recoil that is an element for the most of the NC's arsenal. It might be worth trying to get used to this pattern as a stepping stone to some of the more aggressive weapons that buck like a Bronco. Returns to the question of, is it the best default faction carbine? In comparison, the Solstice VE3 is probably the easiest to control. It's a very tight weapon and I liked it very much. And the Track 5 may be better at killing more enemies you surprise, but lacks the punch or control to be able to duel enemies as effectively. Also, it may be the easiest to use initially because of the extra 10 bullets, but has a much lower skill ceiling. So in conclusion, I would say that the Mercenary in my opinion is the best default carbine, partly because of the extra damage. Unlike the other two, it has the highest potential when mastered, because once you are used to recoil, every bullet counts more. In general, this weapon still has some control and finesse which makes it appealing over other weapons in the NC arsenal. Anyway, thanks for watching everyone, I hope this has helped, and I just wanted to say I have reached 500 subscribers, so thank you everyone. I tried contacting my 500 subscribers to see if he wanted a topic covering, but I'm open to other ideas for a video. Until next time, Joshino.